After a lovely, victorious weekend in Washington for Ohio State, the Buckeyes are back in the great state of Ohio, and we are back at a fun, casual joint. Roosters for the live show, driven by Tansky Power Sports. Buckeyes were 24-6 winners over Washington at Husky Stadium, still undefeated, still number one, now unbeaten in the Big Ten and on the road. That is Justin Zwick, Nicole Cox, Bobby Carpenter. I am Austin Ward, breaking it all down. That stadium was awesome. I'm just going to say it. I get accused.
It's cool. It's a cool place.
Get accused of being
How
a
are
press
the accommodations?
box
Yeah. They were good? Better than you thought?
They renovated it like 15 years ago, so it had to be pretty nice.
It's great. I mean, they could maybe remove one post from the press box I did have to, crane around to see the full field. I didn't have a full vantage point.
I had one of those seats that's like right behind
but
the
I'm not going to complain. Yes, I did. But I'm not going to complain about it because they said, well, you know what? We'll just bring some beer up to the press box after the game.
Yeah, that sounds awesome.
To make up for it. But pregame with the sailgating, we had 15,000 at least, I think, Ohio State.
That's what I was asking people. I was like, what do you, 70,000 seat stadium? I go, I'm guessing it's at least 10. And some of the guys like, I thought it was way more than that.
Yeah, I think it was more.
So they're doing OHIO at the end?
Right before halftime, and the way that the overhang sort of traps the noise, which got up to 120 decibels they had on the board in the first half. But the flip side is that if you have 15 to 20,000 Ohio State fans, that noise gets trapped too.
They had like 4 or 5 false starts. I was like, is this real?
They felt like they were on the road.
Was rattled a little bit. And then after the Jeremiah Smith touchdown before halftime, there was a "Let's go Bucks" chant that was echoing throughout Husky Stadium. So, nice. But that part was really cool. Jay-Z, you asked about the sailgating. That looked awesome.
It did. It
walked
looked
down
so cool.
to Husky Harbor before them. Just hung out all morning down there. It was really cool.
You got to because the press box, it's what the sounder, the lake is on your right from there.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pretty cool, being on the stadium, looking out and seeing that when you're up in there it's about as good a picturesque view you're going to find.
It was great. And then when it came to the game itself, Nicole, we talked all last week about dealing with the noise and Julian Sain's first road start and what we'd find out about the Buckeyes defense. Go on the road and win by 18 is pretty good.
They did not disappoint at all, in my opinion. I mean, I know it wasn't an extremely high-scoring game, but again, who cares? We won. They looked fantastic out there. And you guys, I rewatched the game this morning.
Up and at him early on a Monday watching the game.
Grinding the tape at 4:30 a.m.
Yeah, I just set my alarm for 4:30. I was like, I'll have time to get through it and then get ready for work, get Bronson off to school. And I was watching it in that very first drive for Washington when they got 3 penalties in one drive, and I thought I was watching a recap. I was like, I thought it was a recap, literally. Yeah. I couldn't believe it. It was crazy, but it was nice. I didn't mind it. So.
Yeah.
I wanted to reach through the screen and grab Gary Danielson, though. Every time they called a penalty on them, he's like, I don't know about that. Or I'm just like, what are we doing here? Yeah. And then they fake newsed it. They showed the ump walking towards and I'm sure he fell over, and that's when the flag was thrown. But they stopped it right before anything happened. And I was like, why would you stop it right there, Gary? What's going on?
For them to throw a flag on a sideline,
had to knock somebody out.
There had to be physical contact.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Normally they're like, get back. But if they run into him, which I think he ran into Fish, wasn't it?
Well, I think it was towards the end of the play, and the guy was walking, and the coach started walking up, and then they just stopped it. Yeah. And he's like, I just don't understand why it's not a warning. I'm like, continue that.
The officials run up and down the field looking at the field. So they don't look at where they're running. So for them to run into a guy with a helmet, you can get guys seriously hurt doing that. And that's why they're like, get back, and they're on them. But if there's ever physical contact, there's no warning.
We had one of those earlier in the year, didn't we? A player on the sideline?
Yeah, I mean, they've dealt with that a number of times over the last couple of years. That's
Volt used to have that leash for Urban. He was like a wild dog.
Yeah, the get-back coach is real, no doubt about it.
Quinn trying to corral Ryan Day a couple times over the last couple of years.
But old Jed Fish was on one, boy, wasn't he?
Well, then he
sprint out to the numbers
to follow it by going out onto the field.
Oh, I was like, that's a bad choice.
That was his Bobby Knight throwing the chair across the thing.
Yeah.
What are we doing?
He ran into that. He ran into you. It wasn't even one of your players. And the older coaches know that. As soon as they said there had to be physical contact, which there was, I get that. You can say it's this and that. If it would have happened at Ohio State, dude, get your guys back. Exactly. It's the most preventable penalty you can possibly have. Yeah. So, I mean, there was that. Obviously, a little bumpy start. You get turned away. You get turned away on the 4th and half a yard. Roberts gets tripped up. He's trying to find there, so they missed the linebacker. And it's tough.
High pads by the running back too, though.
Yeah, you would think that CJ would have pushed through that. Unfortunately, didn't. But hey, defense steps up 3-0. Like, great. We're going to get the ball back. Look at this return.
We finally get a punt return.
It's so great.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
Guys, it could happen to anyone. It's okay.
Oh, for sure. It
Listen,
does.
It
Yeah.
could have.
I wrote down, I was like, the ball is slippery.
But I mean, it could legit been.
It didn't actually rain.
Mind
out
you, it was
there,
like 4:45 in the morning at that point.
Yeah.
But
I mean, it could have been 14-0 at that point in time, right? I mean, it could be 38-6. It could have been that much better, but it wasn't, and that's just how the game goes. And you're on the road. And the best thing was, all the bad stuff that happened, kids
right
stayed
away,
right.
yeah.
I mean, they stayed right in it. They didn't let it affect them, and they just went out and did what they were supposed to.
Yeah,
after
it
that.
did make it a little bit wonky because you had the costly turnover there on special teams, and they hadn't finished that first drive, and then
They only
Washington.
had 6 drives in the game.
It's like, oh boy.
3 drives in the first half made it very difficult for Ohio State.
So the last one they needed out, but there were 6 complete drives because you don't count the turnover on the punt because they never actually had the offense on the field.
okay, because I was going to ask you guys about that.
Yeah.
I was like, is that right? But obviously it was. They were
So
reporting
they
it.
scored
But
touchdown, or they got scored on 4 of them, 3 touchdowns and a field goal, and then I think they had 2 punts and then
But you had
and
to
then
stop
kneel.
the fourth down, getting stopped in the red zone on the opening drive. And
Oh, and then they took a knee.
Yeah.
They took a knee before half, which people were complaining about that. I'm like, listen, you're up 7-3. There's 40
The first
seconds.
half just kind of went the way it did. Like, let's just get out of here.
Best case scenario,
We're getting the ball coming out.
Maybe you get a chance to like a 50-yard field goal, 55-yarder. Like worst case,
Something bad happens.
Something
now
bad
their
happens.
crowd's into it going into halftime.
Yes.
And yeah, exactly.
they haven't had anything to cheer about. Let's not get them going. By the way, you're getting the ball, so that changed it.
And they took care of that, and then it just felt like the game was pretty much going to be over at that point. So that was a great adventure for Ohio State, and if you're looking for your next adventure, head to Tansky Power Sports, your one-stop shop for ATVs, dirt bikes, golf carts, and more. Whether you're looking for speed, power, or versatility, Tansky Power Sports has something for everyone. The best brands and expert service. Visit Tansky Power Sports today at 2491 West Dublin Granville Road, or browse their huge selection online at TanskyPowersports.com. Tansky Power Sports, where the adventure begins, the adventure continues, Nicole, with Homecoming. Under the lights,
Under
which
the
Bob was very excited
I think
for.
that's the
Friday.
first time they've ever had a homecoming at night, I want to say.
Ohio State
I don't think they're happy about
doesn't ask for much from the broadcast partners, but they said, this season we'd like some night games, except for Homecoming. We'd like that to be at noon. And then NBC was like, no, forget about that.
Yep.
You're going to get a primetime game, and it's going to be Homecoming.
yeah.
So it's super cool.
There's a first time for everything, guys. And, maybe they'll end up liking it. I don't know. It is kind of odd, though, to have the night game. I mean, I'm excited about it, but just because it's not noon. So,
I mean,
but
they plan all these events.
Push
for
everything back,
Homecomings.
right?
Yeah.
Just
That's
push
the
everything back a
problem.
few
It's like
hours.
the
I don't know.
people getting ready and all of the stuff and the activities surrounding it. It's just, I don't know. Like, this seems like a nice 3:30 window would have been perfect for it.
3:30 would
A
have
nice
been
compromise.
perfect.
But then Jay-Z would have had to listen to Gary Danielson again.
Ugh, I don't want to do that. I was tired of
I
him.
don't want to
I was tired of him at the end of that game.
So you can opt out of that. But, Ohio State handled its business the way that we sort of all expected, or maybe not exactly the way we expected, but with dominant defense and with Julian Sayin handling the road noise and all of that. So we've got a lot of options available to us, is my point, for the Roosters Buckeye Leaves. And Nicole has a full notebook of options.
Nicole's
do.
notes.
I do. I have a lot,
Nikki's
of
notes.
notes. A lot of notes.
That's funny because the game was only 3 hours, so you must have really been scribbling fast.
Well, yeah,
It was
and
quick.
yes, and I could fast forward through commercials, guys. It was fantastic.
You could probably watch that game like
If you
without
get that
commercials.
60-minute
2
one off the
hours.
Big Ten Network,
Well,
you can watch that in 20.
The first
20
half
minutes.
was 56 minutes,
Mhm.
57 minutes. Crazy.
I was
Berm tried to
grateful for
jinx it.
that.
He said, this is the fastest college football game of all time. I said, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Zip it.
It was really neat just to watch them, an away game, Julian saying first start away. And I personally felt, I've heard like mixed reviews, but I felt it was extremely loud. I could like
It was
hear
loud.
it through the TV. And so I thought, I wonder what that feels like out there, but guys,
Were you getting nervous for him?
I wasn't. So we talked about last week them starting off strong and hopefully like getting the first touchdown or, just getting that first play to really give them extra confidence and boost them. And that's what I thought was the most impressive thing is they didn't, and they still kept their composure and still, they didn't get discouraged at all, which I think is great.
Easier said than done.
Yeah.
Which a lot of times on the road can happen. The crowd gets into it and things aren't going right.
Especially
and,
if it's a loud crowd. And we talked about that a lot last week. So I was impressed by that. very much so. All the players just not getting, discouraged that Washington scored first. So, but I was very impressed with Bo Jackson.
Bo knows.
Lambo Jackson.
I mean, he just
correct.
He was just a bulldozer, is what I wrote down. Again, it was early in the morning, but just he really.
Your best thoughts seem to come out.
I hope, guys. I hope this is a new thing we're trying.
All right,
so,
I like it so far.
I was very impressed by him, and obviously extremely impressed by Caden Curry and the defense. Caden played incredibly well. Now, the commentators were talking a lot about that, so I was focusing on him, but it was very, very impressive. And Igbinosun had, I think it was in the fourth quarter, had back-to-back plays that really were just important and a great way for us to close out the game.
Yeah. One would have been a first down. He doesn't get a hand on there, and he makes a nice tackle. I mean, he played well on the outside. I thought he made some big plays. So you're done?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So
I haven't given a leaf yet.
No more?
I haven't given a
just
leaf yet. I gotta figure out.
Yeah,
who
you
I
haven't.
wanna give my leaf.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I
you
don't
actually
think the
gave
actual leaf came out. I didn't want to jump on you.
No,
Lots of
I'm gonna give it
praise.
to Bo Jackson. You
Bo
guys.
Jackson.
Ooh, I love
Just
it.
because Caden Curry deserves it as well, but he's the obvious choice because he was had a record-setting game.
Well,
So-
that's like cliches. Are cliches? They're true for a reason.
Yeah.
Caden Curry. If
Yeah,
you
you
don't
can't
go
go
I'm
wrong,
giving two.
Well,
I'm giving two.
Bobby,
too,
I think
that's
Bobby
fine.
will definitely give.
I'm
one
going to
to Caden
give
if you
a
don't.
lot out, so it's okay.
I'm gonna give Caden Curry and Bo Jackson
Okay.
and Julian.
Oh, all right, 3.
Because you guys, again, cool, calm, and collected. Just even in that environment,
He
just
even said
stepped
that
up.
after the game. He's like, "It's great to be back on the West Coast." Like,
Yeah.
all right.
He's like, love it out
How
here.
do you
all
know?
right, yeah.
You were in the hotel the whole time.
What a guy.
It's just something in the air,
I'll tell you what.
and that what was
You
in
know-
the air was weed.
Well, a lot of that.
Something was weed.
I just think about that touchdown pass to JJ right before half. And even though, it was a great play call, but when you rewatch it, he has two dudes barreling down on him.
Yeah.
And Jeremiah's running as fast as he can. To hit him right in the nut. just what? I think it's a screen, that's really not flashy or anything, but I think he did a really, really nice job just retreating, knowing he's got a free guy at least, and then another guy broke through and just kept that window and put it right on him. So he doesn't get my Buckeye leaf for that, but I just
He's
wanted to mention,
unflappable,
I
isn't
think
he?
that is, I think the kid is just really, really good. And that ball, although it looks simple, I think it was a little bit harder than what people would imagine. I'm giving Buckeye leaves to the entire defense.
Oh, okay.
Slags.
Thank
Guys,
you,
I'm
Slade.
loving this.
I'm not going to go through every one of them, but
I'm
I think
loving
I think
this.
it was really cool to see. And Bob, you can talk to this probably more than I can, but their idea going into the game, their game plan is just let's build this wall and all rush as one almost, and just make this guy decide or figure something out. And we're going to spy somebody back here as well in case he does get through. But I imagine for rushers and those D linemen, it's really hard to be that in your lane, disciplined every snap, and not just say, I think I can get around this guy this time, and and create that hole for him to escape, and for them to just do that the entire game. And defensive line played amazing. Caden Curry, of course, filled up the stats, but I think that front 7 was just awesome.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job. I wasn't sure if they were going. We talked to Joshua Perry on Wednesday night, and he mentioned I think you put Arvell there and you give him 2 seconds and go get the guy, make him make a decision whether he's going to throw the ball or get out really quick. And then we just kind of went in with a whole different mindset of we're just going to stand this up and make him either throw over top of us, beat us with his arm, or make a play on him. And that front 7 there was great, holding a team that was scoring that many points to 6 in a couple of red zone. I just saw a picture today. It was 3 different games. Teams in the red zone, and Ohio State outscored these guys 7-6 in these situations, type thing. It's just kind of a wow. This defense is really special, and that was a game that I thought was going to test them a little bit, and they answered it. And I think Washington. They're a top 25 football team in my opinion. I think their defense was better than we were giving them
Defense
credit
was better
for
than we thought.
going into that
I
game.
agreed with
I think their D line was pretty solid. Getting after Julian didn't have a whole lot of time to sit back in the pocket and just kind of throw downfield, which we didn't do a lot of because of that. But he also, on the flip side, we saw him getting pressure, moving in the pocket, keeping his eyes downfield, and keeping plays alive, which, for a young guy on the road, all that stuff that goes into it was really big. So, yeah, defense to me goes
There we go. Whole defense.
The whole defense.
Yeah, whole defense.
We'll go with the Cadence.
Oh, timeout. I forgot one. Jaden Fielding.
Oh,
sacrificing his body.
Yes.
He didn't make a tackle. He sacrificed his body to get run over by a big dude coming full steam ahead at him. And if he doesn't make that, who knows what happens? But he sacrificed himself for the team, and so he gets a Buckeye lead.
Do your job.
That's what it
is.
His eyes were probably this big watching that dude just run straight.
I tell you, hey.
Oh boy!
My dad would always say, "There's no such thing as a bad open field tackle."
That's right.
As long as the guy's on the ground,
as long as the guy gets down,
yeah,
it's fine by hook or by crook. And I'm going to go with the Cadence with that. It's great to see Caden McDonald, Schleggs affectionately calls K-Mac, Caden with a K, if you will, plays so well. He's been so dominant inside, and then to watch him have those sacks, the tackles for loss, just dominating in the middle, and then Caden Curry, who. Danielson was all about Caden Curry.
Yeah,
almost on cue. He's like, Matt Patricia said, this guy's just a football player. You're going to watch him. Oh, boom, sack. Next play. It was like it was
Matt Patricia wasn't lying.
Yeah. It was like it was scripted. And for a guy to talk about like Caden Curry, and Kenyatta had a sack as well and is playing pretty good football. But those guys sat behind, for 3 years behind JT and Jack Sawyer. Finally getting their chance, and I think everybody get a chance now to see how good they are. I think people around the program always inherently knew it. And you're like, man, you want to get them out there more, but to get somebody out, you got to take somebody off. Mm-hmm. And so it's awesome to watch those two guys on the D end, especially Caden Curry, because he's been moving all around. Like whatever they need him to do, he does it. He's been selfless. And so it's easy now in an era like this where people can just pick up and go and like, hey, why don't you go to a West Virginia or go to NC State or some other school, like they'll pay you probably more and you're going to be the star as opposed to kind of waiting it out, sticking it out, and then you're ultimately getting rewarded with this. It's pretty awesome to see. And I get super excited when I see that because those guys care about the program and that means, this is where they want to be. It's not a highest bidder situation. It's not what's the best situation for me, maybe production wise. It's where do I fit in? And where did I commit to? And to watch those guys do that and now to be rewarded for it has been pretty special.
I couldn't agree more, Bob. I was thinking about how successful we've been this year, the team has been, and how smart we've been playing, like not taking too big of risks. And and it's the selflessness that I love the most, that these guys truly, and it started kind of with Travion and Quinshon, at least for me last year, just how, I don't know. I just think that is what makes a team because they're all in it to win as a team, not for their own stats.
Yeah, you have to have that.
If
you're gonna play 16 games and win a trophy at the end, you're gonna have to have some sacrifices along the way. And Ohio State embodied that a year ago, and I think that example has been passed down. You can see it in the Woody right now. Even some guys who didn't have games that they would be incredibly proud of individually.
They all played great, though.
Oh,
I'm thinking of
they played great.
Some of the frustration that's going on with Edric Houston with his health and then committing that penalty in the second half, not feeling really good. And he was as down as I've ever seen. But the rest of the Buckeyes came over and like, pick your head up, we're going to need you. They had that conversation with him on the sideline. And then by the time the game was over, he's got the smile back and he's hugging K-Mac and dapping up Caden Curry for what they did. So, he could have been down about what he did individually. Ohio State's going to need Edric Houston to elevate his game over the course of the year. They all know that. But I think that's – he didn't just sulk on the way to the bus, Nicole. I mean, he was back in a good mood, and they won, 18-point win. Feel good for your guys because Kenyatta, K-Mac, and Caden Curry all had really good days, and his chance is coming. They know that.
Oh, yeah. He'll get it. I mean, you got to stay with it. And those guys are examples now of what staying in the program does for you and how it can develop you as a player. So it's always rewarding to see the guys who do everything right finally work out for them in the end.
I love watching that. It's just the definite.
I just believe in that. It's a Disney movie.
You guys, it's just like my belief system. It's just like give it your heart, trust, and just don't be selfish.
Yep.
Like when you only focus on yourself, I feel like that's when things can go downhill.
Well, Nicole, you mentioned Quinshon and Travion in that split workload a year ago. Ohio State's got some of that going on right now, and it would be really easy for C.J. Donaldson to be upset. Oh, Bo Jackson's getting 17 carries, and this freshman's coming in and taking this job I thought was going to be mine. Same thing for James Peoples. They're all finding ways to contribute. And so we see what Bo Jackson is capable of. We know how important he's going to be moving forward. The guy who got a rushing touchdown, the guy who got a receiving touchdown, still CJ Donaldson.
I was going to say he had a great game too. They all had a great game, which is especially the new guys. It's like they are not disappointing. They haven't disappointed us at all. I'm very impressed with how hard they've been working behind the scenes and now have come in to take the places of those that have moved on to the NFL.
So I think they're going to need both of them, and that was a pretty good example of that on Saturday.
And he wasn't here last year, but he saw what we were able to do with two backs and what they're doing now in the NFL and how that can work. So, I think that mindset really has kind of changed. Like, all right, we're going to need to be running back by committee this year. We got a bunch of good players in here, and we're going to need all of us, throughout this season.
Yeah, you can get a third one involved with James Peoples. And speaking of three.
Appetizer Thursday.
Appetizer Thursday.
It's coming.
The favorite of Bill Zwick.
Bill and Linda Zwick, their favorites.
Fried mushrooms.
Some fried fungi.
That is one thing.
I'm going to call it that.
That is one
fried
thing that
mushrooms.
can be fried.
Fried fungi.
That I will not go after.
Nope, fried mushrooms.
Jay-Z hasn't torn into this one.
That's one. You can fry it as much as you want. I cannot get into the mushroom.
It's okay though.
It is okay.
Your parents love them.
They love them. It's their favorite.
And it's the healthiest option, I think.
Probably.
I don't have the stats to back that
I don't know.
up.
I think the cheese has a lot of calcium in it or something.
Oh, that might be right.
Yeah.
There you go. $3.
Yeah, Appetizer
on a
Thursday
Tuesday.
at your local participating Roosters. It's a fun casual joint. And while you're there, or while you're at home, you can scan the QR code.
Yes.
And
we have a whole week left
One
for this
week left.
until we draw next Monday.
Currently, you can be one of 45 million entrants.
$1 million.
Nope. A lot of entries, but not that many. Everybody has a chance to win, so register every day.
What's on the line for next week's drawing? Do you know?
Penn State tickets.
Oh.
I think it's Penn State or UCLA. I believe it's Penn State.
Big game James.
Yeah.
Never
Penn State
fails
or
in those
UCLA.
scenarios. We can probably talk about that more in the second half of the show.
And we're giving away a trip to the playoff game as well in that drawing. One of those for each drawing.
I love it.
Wow. Buckeyes certainly on pace for one of those, which keep going at the rate they're at. It's going to be the Rose Bowl.
One game at a time.
And everyone loves
medium pace.
Yeah, I don't want to think about that. I really enjoyed Washington. I don't want to go back to the Rose Bowl, but that's getting way ahead of
good
things.
views too out there.
No, we don't want to talk about that. But busy week coming. Saturday in prime time, Nicole. You've got a score prediction. I'm sure of it.
Yes.
For Ohio State and Minnesota.
I've changed it, guys, down here 5 times.
Okay. What did we land on?
It's Monday.
I landed on 37-10.
37-10.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So the third touchdown given up of the season. It's going to happen on Saturday.
The first team to score double digits.
That's it.
It's coming
I
on
know,
Saturday.
you're right. I don't, guys, I don't love that.
With a freshman quarterback.
That explosive second half offense against Rutgers last week.
They threw the ball around, and the one
always-
series I saw is at the end of the game.
I give a buffer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because there are always those freak plays where something crazy happens. So I
Happened
just
against
like the
Ohio.
buffer. And I think it's fine.
Yeah.
You know, because we still win.
Sooner or later,
So-
it's going to happen. Somebody's going to score 10-plus points.
I think you're
Gosh
probably
darn it,
right.
guys.
You would think.
It's just hard to imagine how
I
you
just
do
don't
it.
think it's going to be Minnesota, so I don't like that prediction.
Knock it down. Just give them 9, just like Ohio.
Yeah, there you go. 3
Yeah.
field goals.
37-9.
Yeah, let's do that.
All right.
I like that better.
Talk Nicole down on that one. And either way, sounds like another Ohio State cover. They covered against Washington. Again, that was a 24-6 win. And Nicole's going to go about the rest of her day. She's got Eric hiding out over there, and he brought Jay-Z
my
some
man, Eric.
chips.
Oh,
So
I
Brought the
love him.
chips.
if you thought that Jay-Z was in a really good mood on this Monday,
Yes.
now you know why. It wasn't
got-
just Ohio State's
yes,
win.
That was
We
a
love the
welcome
Rooster
sight.
chips.
Coming in, you see Eric, and then I just start hoping.
You
and
just
then I
see
saw
the
the
aluminum
trays.
pans.
Now they're the small trays, so whatever. But
Man, you can take 2 of them, Justin. All right.
Yeah.
I'm taking off 4. You guys don't get in.
Oh, no. How about that? Well, that's not what we anticipated.
I'm just kidding.
Maybe Birm can tear into those right now before he gets in here for the second half of the live show. Thanks to Nicole Cox for all of her thoughts and all of the team at Roosters for having us in here once again on Henderson Road. We'll be back for more on the live show. It is fueled by Tansky Power Sports in just a second.
Hey, Buckeye fans! As the official wing sponsor of Ohio State Athletics, Roosters is kicking off an incredible giveaway you won't want to miss. This football season, we're giving away 12 ultimate Buckeye experiences. 3 drawings, 12 winners with prizes including tickets, sideline passes, and 3 trips to a Buckeye first-round postseason game. Go to roosterswings.com to register and see all the details. 3 drawings, 12 amazing prizes. Register today and every day. Roosters, a fun, casual joint.
Welcome back into the live show at Roosters. It is a fun, casual joint. And Birm is here. And I got to tell you,
Yeah.
This guy is in
He is flying high.
rare
today.
form.
Yes.
The best mood that I may have ever seen. Washington really changed you.
I'm tired. I'm running on some fumes,
No.
but I'm also you know what I was just glad about, like technology, because I was kind of bummed the Reds like gave me some hope all through the week, and then coming down to the final day of the regular season, I'm boarding a plane.
Gonna win.
I had to board a plane at the minute the first pitch happened, and so like I was not expecting to be able to watch it, but then I realized that Delta has fast free Wi-Fi, and I could watch Amazon Prime Video on my phone
Buckeyes.
and watch
There
the
you
whole
go.
game on my phone on the
course.
flight. And then I got to flip over to watch the Mets lose at the end. It got the Reds in the playoffs, and so that's pretty cool.
Well, they only needed, because the Reds lost, and they needed one thing to happen.
Yeah.
and they got it.
They
got
did. The Mets.
Well, they
couldn't-
needed something else to happen, which was to go 6-1 in the last week against the Cubs
Yeah.
and Brewers, and they somehow did it. So here we go.
Championship team right there.
Big Ohio, big baseball state. I mean, the Tribe.
The Reds have a winning record against playoff teams this year.
So
and
bad teams they
They,
lose.
they just lost all the bad teams. So,
Except the Dodgers.
well, they do not have a winning record against the Dodgers. That's true.
well, old boy, who is their
who they play?
ace? I watched old boy go out there the
Hunter
first.
Green.
Yeah, and throw up freaking what? He
Well, Hunter's from-
expired the side. He was gunning them down, and then of course they screw one up, give up a solo shot, and then they get beat up in the pen.
Yeah,
and lost.
it'll be Tuesday. Will be interesting. Hunter Green's from LA. Like it's a big day.
I suspect that nobody tuned in to hear our thoughts on playoff baseball.
You don't know.
Listen,
I just said I suspected. I don't know. I didn't say I absolutely am
All right.
certain. Nobody wants
Well,
to hear
let's
us talk
turn
about
the
baseball.
page. Let's turn the page.
Bob Seger, let's
He
go.
was just explaining why he's so happy.
I know.
'Cause he
And
hasn't seen the
he got to
Bengals.
fly
Reds-
and he got to watch baseball, like two of his favorite things.
The Reds have only, as I just said before we started recording, the Reds have only made the playoffs 16 times in their history.
So
Like
bad.
You said we were going to turn the page.
Well, I'm just explaining why this is.
Let me.
you know.
Here's the question. This will be our bridge. In what year will the Buckeyes surpass the Reds for playoff appearances?
Probably what will be 16 seasons into the playoff era?
Because I mean, Ohio State's how many times have they been in the playoffs now?
2040?
6, I believe.
Yeah, I mean it's
So they've got 10.
So,
This is-
2035, they'll be tied.
What's the apex?
well, to be honest, Ohio State football started not too shortly after the Reds began.
But
so
the playoffs since
The
Oh,
playoff
yeah.
system has
Oh.
only existed since 2014.
yeah, whatever. So let's talk about football.
Jay-Z took the entire defense.
I know, I heard that. I was like,
That was a good one. You were like, what a good
No,
call by
because
Jay-Z.
there are obvious answers. There's the Cadence, which I mean, those dudes played. I said it on Snap Judgments after the game, but when you have 3 of your 4 defensive linemen play the best games of their career simultaneously,
It's pretty good.
you're going to have good results. But to me, I'm going to go 2 guys. Okay, I'm going
8 ball,
to go offense and defense.
Charlie Sheen.
Negative.
Oh,
Davison frickin' Igbinosun.
he did play well.
Played
He's played really
great.
well this year.
He had 6 tackles. He had a tackle in the fourth quarter, which has kind of gone untalked about.
Big tackle.
That basically saved a touchdown.
Yep.
That it's 14-6 at that point. If he scores a touchdown there, that game takes on a whole different life.
Don't like
And
that.
he tackles a guy 1-on-1 that he was getting loose if Davison doesn't get him there. Shut down Denzel Boston, and I think Ohio State takes those types of hype train things very personally. We're like when all week long people are talking about how good.
You think Davidson's a guy that takes things personally?
I actually do
Doesn't
think that. Yeah.
think he
doesn't
does.
strike me as a
I
guy.
think he's
that-
got a little bit of edge to him.
But he was great.
Chippiness.
And
Wild card.
the other guy that I'm going to give a Buckeye leaf to, who is not going to be talked about a lot, even though he scored 2 touchdowns, is C.J. Donaldson. This is a guy who transferred to Ohio State, came in with the mindset of I'm going to be one of the bell cows in this offense, and it's taken 4 games, and he's been surpassed by a freshman who doubled up his carries on Saturday. But when C.J. got in there, he scored the 2 touchdowns in the second half, but also he didn't. After the game, he was talking to anyone who would talk to him and said, hey, I had to do better on the first 4th down play. Like, I appreciate a guy saying, hey, I couldn't get into a rhythm. It was early.
Yeah.
Like,
Are you saying he didn't want to talk to us? It was just that we're standing there?
No, I'm saying he's the one thing that's interesting in this era of college football. Not one thing. There's a lot of things interesting, but one other thing is that in the transfer portal era, like I've known James Peoples now for 4 years. Like when a guy comes in his 5th year of college football, we don't get to talk to him really in the fall, the spring, the summer, and then all of a sudden it's like he's still trying to figure out who everyone is.
Yeah.
And
You didn't get to meet him in the high school parking
right
lots.
for a kid like that
groom
to,
him
for
to
a kid like that
after
to
the game.
step into the post game atmosphere, the press conference in this little closet, and to stand up and say, "I messed up on that play." Like I appreciate someone who's taken that accountability. It wasn't his fault that the 2 tight ends got their asses kicked on one play. That's not his fault. So, but I appreciate that he took it anyway, and then he bounced back and scored the 2 tutties. And this team is really, really special, and we're just starting to see what they're going to be offensively. So,
sure.
There's a lot of guys that you could talk about, but those 2 I don't think have been discussed enough.
But you're going to go with the 8-ball, Arvell Reese, who was the spy master.
Well, again,
He was a spy master.
there's only so many trains that I
Start
can
calling him
conduct.
James Bond out there.
I don't know how many trains I can conduct but at one time, but their Caden Curry hype train has officially left the station. I can surrender that to the masses. I've been on it.
You took it long enough.
Yeah,
long and far enough.
I was certainly at the forefront of the Arvell Reese hype train. I'm going to let the people have that one now as well. So I can't really spend too much.
Give it over to Gary.
What's your next one?
Gary.
What's your next train you're getting going?
Isaiah West.
Isaiah West is pretty close, but it's going to be
Miles Graham?
interesting just with Bo Jackson because they're together. It's going to be hard to.
They're not currently together because one of them was getting twice as many carries as anyone else on the roster.
Yeah, but I can't really. Who's the next one? That's a great question. I'll have to figure that out for next week.
We're gonna come back. We'll see you at Roosters next week.
Yeah,
we expect an answer.
I heard the fun guy. They do some brain development. The psychedelics, Birm, will help you explore.
There are a lot of fun guys
sir.
on that team. That's for sure. Lots of fun guys on that team. Really, just what a good experience overall. Like Washington, that's again, I think a really proud program, one that's on the cusp of getting back to being pretty nationally prominent.
I think they're probably a 9. I have to look at their schedule. Probably a 9-ish win team this year.
Unfortunately, their schedule does not get easier from here.
It's going to be tough.
They have USC, they have Michigan, they have Oregon.
It's got beat by Illinois.
Well, that's a tough task to travel across the country and play at 11 a.m.
Well, Lincoln will tell you about it.
Whatever. Complain all you want, Lincoln, but it is what it is. This is the new world. But Washington, unfortunately, has to play at Michigan, at Oregon, and USC at home. So they could still finish 9-4 this year if they, handle the rest of their business. So I'm
already picking them to lose their bowl game.
Well, that would be their win.
8-4 and then win the 9th in the bowl game.
But I think that they're.
I thought he had them as 9-3.
It'll be curious. No, they'll lose to Michigan, USC.
Well, they're not going to lose to USC.
All right, maybe not. I don't know. I'm not an expert on Washington. I just thought that I was
there.
I was impressed by. I was
48
impressed by them.
hours indoctrinated in Seattle.
I thought their defense was better than advertised.
Yeah, especially considering they were without their 2 best players on defense. So, and then they had a bunch of injuries in the game. So I mean, Jed Fish did a great job. I think he's going to do a fine job next year in Florida.
He's a good coach.
I don't see. I think the power, the things that you mentioned about how proud this program is, and with Washington eventually going to be getting the full complement of Big Ten money. I think you can win there. I think he will win there. I don't know that he has to take the Florida job, especially if that's where James Franklin is fleeing Penn State for.
Well, someone's going to have to flee to UCLA and take the California.
They don't have to.
Who really wants to take that job?
I think Jed Fish at UCLA would. I mean, if obviously the powers that be there have to decide they want to fully support football, but Jed
Why
Fish,
would they do that though?
I don't know.
What evidence would you have of that over the last?
I
10
don't
years?
have any, but
That's
I think
my
that
point.
they have to at some point. Martin Jarman's pretty smart, isn't he? Oh, that was a lot of silence. that got weird.
It's kind of hard to say based on the results so far
true.
since he got there. They haven't been great.
That's true.
But I came away thinking that because before the game, like, oh well, Jed Fish is gonna be in the mix at Florida. He was probably gonna take that, and why wouldn't he? And then I left, and I'm like, why would you leave Washington?
Why would you want to? Yeah.
Like he has everything there that he could hope to.
It's funny you talk about like college cities, and there's it's Ohio State and it's Texas, and there's the only teams that ever really get talked about because nobody in California cares. So USC and UCLA don't count, but Seattle's like right there. There's no excuse that program. I mean, again, they were in the national championship 20 months ago.
You practice lakefront.
Yeah.
I mean, like literally, the practice field is adjacent to the water. If you throw a bad enough ball, it may go into the water.
Although I was surprised at how much stuff they piled on top of the practice field for like the tailgate.
Oh yeah, they had like I saw the tents.
It was all on that. I was like, that would not fly in Columbus. So maybe there are some things that they could still.
Oh, they could sell that out if they did though. Tailgate on the practice field.
So you guys had to work. So I got a chance to watch the first two games in the first window, Notre Dame, Arkansas, and then USC.
Looked like a really competitive game there.
Well, I just honestly, if you're a Notre Dame fan, like the defense was a lot better. then you have Illinois and USC, and I was like, I want to see how Illinois would bounce back after that woodshed experience they had last weekend. And I'm thinking this is a kind of a watershed deal for USC. Like you get a ranked win, you'd be 4 or 5-0. Like you have a chance to Lincoln Riley get some momentum.
Cool that hot seat down.
Yeah. And then obviously I'm on the Ohio State game primarily during that, but you had the other games in that window with Ole Miss and LSU. And then what was the other big game? There was another good game in that window.
Tennessee
was in a fight with Mississippi State.
Yeah.
Mississippi State.
And that was a pretty decent one. And then the other 2 night games, obviously, they were both really good. I came away from the weekend after watching that thinking there are no teams playing that I have seen that I think are worrisome to Ohio State. Oregon, I think, is the next best team in the country, at least from what I saw.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what worrisome.
Well, I
really
mean,
means, but I think that
for losing as
nobody,
many guys as they did,
Yeah.
this team is as talented as they need to be to win a national title.
They can beat every team in the country.
That's the takeaway.
That's
I
it.
think. I don't think that there's a.
You know what I'm like? It would be hard to beat them. I think if they go out and play well, they play like they did against Washington, against most of those teams, clean a little stuff up, like you're beating everybody.
You know, there's so much conversation in the last 48 hours about play calling and the Ohio State offense, and like you guys already talked about it in the first segment, so I don't want to beat the drum too much. But they had 6 possessions and they had 300 yards and 24 points.
They were favored by 8.5 and won by 18.
Right, and
like, so what are we complaining
Even
about?
if you take the initial spread before it got bet down, it was still 13.
Yeah,
right.
The
covered all over the place.
Covered both of them.
This should have been a 38-3 win if Ohio State picks up a fourth and an inch. Just sneak the quarterback, please. Just it's fine.
Yes, I
you can
agree.
just do that when you need 1 inch there at in the first drive.
Maybe that's the only time that I would advocate for a quarterback package. Let Lincoln be the quarterback. If you don't want to sneak Julian,
Fine. Yeah, because it's literally 3 inches they
But
had to get.
sneak Julian, who cares? You can fall forward and push yourself.
And then obviously the fumble when Ohio State doesn't, immediately gets off the field, and then they would have had the ball back at
20.
Washington 40.
Oh, that was like the 25.
it was further. Yeah.
Was it?
Yeah, oh yeah.
They got the ball at the 20. He fumbled like 5
they got
yards
the ball
forward.
like the 21-yard line
he
because
broke
Gary
that.
was like, "This is ball don't lie. This is where it should have been." I'm like, "Oh, I hate you
Well,
already."
I'm glad I didn't have to hear that
Yeah,
stuff.
I
When
did.
he said ball don't
Yeah,
lie.
ball don't lie. This is a ball don't lie situation
Oh, it
right
was
here.
bad.
I'm like, get out of here, dude.
That
Feel
should
free
have
to retire at any
that
time,
should have been
Gary.
a 38-3 game.
Exactly.
And people obviously would talk about it a whole lot different, but the efficiency of the Ohio State offense is unbelievable right now. Like they are just we talked about it, joked about it kind of after the game. Like they just decide, okay, we're going to score this drive. We can just because any time that they just decide we're going to throw it, then they score, and that's
I
clearly
felt like that when they came out at the start of the third quarter. It's like
third quarter.
back to back, easy throws to Jeremiah Smith. It's like feels like you could do this whenever
Every
you
play.
wanted.
Every play.
But it was clear, I think, and we had an opportunity to catch up with some of the coaches after the game. Like they were like, we couldn't really respond to what Washington was doing because we didn't have the football. Yeah. And so then they just decided coming out of the second half, screw it, we're just going to do what we need to do. And Washington surprised them by playing like a cover 3 soft zone most of the game. And when that happens, like, how do you beat that, Bob? How do you beat that, Jay-Z? You have to just
Take what they give you.
Take what they give you. Run the ball up the middle. Run the ball up the middle.
With that opening drive of the second half, like 15
plays,
15, 7, 40, touchdown. Like, and
Yeah,
if people get upset about that, I'm like, it makes the game shorter. You can get out of there. Like
that was nuts, dude. I looked up it was 1:28 local time, and we were at the 2-minute warning. I was like, what in the world is going on here?
It's great. But that's people complain like, well, they want more scoring. And Ryan talked about last year they changed up and they didn't play as fast.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, well, we can, but do we really need to expose ourselves to more plays? Like, why risk getting someone injured? Why risk?
Especially with the long season. I mean,
Yeah.
that all comes into
Let's
play.
come
right?
in here. Let's risk a turn.
Buckeyes had 62 plays. They only had 6 possessions.
Yes.
So they're averaging 10 plays a possession, and scoring. They only punted once. So I don't know what more you can do in that
It's
situation.
just the 4th and 1 that everybody goes back.
You
to
want the
beginning of
football
the
back.
game.
Maybe you got to find some way to create a turnover here or there, which has not been the strength of this defense thus far.
But if you're holding them to
fine.
6 points, I don't care.
The opponents aren't getting a lot of plays either because you're seeing a lot of 3 and outs and sacks.
So
They were 1 for 11 on third down.
down.
Pretty good.
I looked
isn't it?
back at that. I was like, my gosh, that's atrocious.
and that wasn't because Washington's players weren't good. DeMond Williams was awesome.
Yeah, he's fast.
But he's not even. He was a really good passer. He was extremely accurate, smart
Just a
with the
little
ball.
guy.
At one point, he completed 14 straight passes, but it still
Julian
wasn't
saying,
like he was putting Ohio State in jeopardy.
But Julian Saying outrushed him, which is not something that anybody in America.
Julian didn't have Arvell out there.
Well, and he didn't take as many sacks either.
That was the play. It was Washington's second drive inside of the 10, where Arvell spying him, and Damon Williams, like, you're watching it, and if you watch the replay from the all-22 angle,
the backfield.
That is a play Damon Williams scores a touchdown on 96 times out of 100.
Mm-hmm.
And 100 times out of 100, Arvell Reese beats him to that spot.
Yeah.
And that's
impressive.
incredible for a guy who's 6'4", 245 pounds, to be able to see that happening and beat him to that spot and force him to cut back inside.
And make the tackle.
Just an incredible play. And that's what we talked about last week. At the end of the week, I was talking about how Washington's familiar with Ohio State's defense, and I said over and over, it doesn't matter how familiar you are with it, you don't have those players that Ohio State has. And
you can't simulate it.
You can't simulate that. No matter how fast Damon Williams is or how quick he gets to top speed. His top speed is not faster than Arvell Reese. Yeah.
You said by Monday you were going to be ready to nitpick that game.
Yeah.
It's got to be outside of red zone production and special teams. I don't know where
I still
else
have some concerns about the defensive line's ability to hold up against a real run game, because Washington was able to be pretty effective.
Coleman was good.
Yeah. And their backup running back, Adam Muhammad, was good.
Yeah.
Like, if they are a team that is built to run power football. And Damon Williams kind of gives them a different element, but at their core, that is a power run team. And I do have some concerns about the long-term ability of Ohio State's defensive line, especially if Edric Houston continues to be inconsistent, to stand up to that. I liked what I saw out of Bo Atkinson in this game in those roles. I think Kenyatta Jackson, again, we saw him on Wednesday night, and he was limping real bad. And I asked him.
Massive brace on his leg.
And he had a huge brace. And then Saturday he walks out pregame and he's not wearing any brace, and he's just like walking on sunshine.
Like Jim Brown.
And I was like, what in the
that,
world?
Dragging it, leading you guys. Everybody gets, oh no, look at that. Bo
That's
Jackson's got a wrap on his knee. And I'm like, so what? It's after practice. Tell me when he's on crutches and has a.
We get such a limited window to actually see them that we're like, well, okay, that's different. And
it's not a photo hunt from week to week. Like,
well, you pay attention.
AJ used to ice his knees every day after practice, and he'd walk, and like when you're wrapped up with bags, like, oh my gosh, you're like limping because you can't have a normal gait.
I understand all that, and we don't get to see every practice, Bob. But if AJ did that every week, we would say, well, there was nothing unusual.
Well, sometimes you may not. It just would be, have you seen him before he put the ice on or not?
Mm-hmm. I get it, 100%. I'm just saying when it was out of character compared to a week before or a day before, that Kenyatta acknowledged, yeah, that was a pretty big brace, and I didn't feel good on Wednesday. And then he was magically fine on Saturday and dominant. I said, were you doing that just to mess with us? And he's like, no, I didn't feel good. I don't know. He gave credit to the training staff.
Dr. Stu.
Your body, some days it feels good, some days it doesn't. It turned out well that it felt good for him on Saturday. But that is ultimately my long-term concern, because I just don't know how that plays when you get to the 29th of November.
And I would say even the 1st of November. I think that's also an issue.
Or in 2 weeks at
all. Because Penn State ran the ball very, very well against Oregon. And Oregon's front four is much bigger than Ohio State's.
Beef here. I would think part of the reason I think maybe Ohio State's playing the way that they are is that it limits the exposure to that D-line, so the depth doesn't become as much of a concern. Now, you need to get Edric Houston to be able to play. Like, you're sliding Bo Atkinson in, Caden Curry is sliding like down. And I mean, you are a little like there's some Band-Aids and there's a little bit of,
smoke and
mirrors to get that done. And some of the front stuff that they're doing, they're putting more on the secondary by doing this. And Matt Patricia's really good. So, like, if there's a solution for it that you can find, like he will find it and it'll be out there. But you're not wrong in saying that. And that's why I think, like, it's cool. We can play 65 plays. I'd rather do that than exposing our defense to 80, because that means we're going to have to find other guys to get in there for another 25 or 30 snaps.
Yeah, I don't know that it's something that Ohio State can get better at this year. Like that is
the guys are the guys.
The guys are the guys. And so how do you find a way to put makeup on that pig? And I think it's not a knock. Like, those guys are playing hard. They're playing well. Again, Caden McDonald might be the team's MVP at this point.
He's great. But he needs a buddy.
He's doing everything he can, but who's the next guy? Because someone else has to step up and be that guy. Tywan Malone played fine. It's been better, but I think you're going to see as teams recognize that, hey, there's always going to be 5 defensive backs out here. There's just going to be these 2 linebackers. Sonny is playing kind of a protectionist role, a very I'm just he's like the
terms are amazing.
He's like the linebacker safety. He's just like, hey, I'm going to be there and make sure nothing gets leaky. But like at some point,
when it gets leaky,
when you run into a team that doesn't need to use the quarterback to try to run on 3rd and 2, it might be interesting. That's all.
And you blitz them.
The block-o protectionists.
Bring a couple more linebackers in and get after it.
Yeah, got that option. All right.
Offensively, is there stuff to complain about? I personally don't think so. I mean, I know people don't love the play calling.
More points.
They want it more aggressive.
Score every time.
Okay, so they want it more aggressive.
Jeremiah Smith had 8 catches. I mean,
I was sitting there and people were upset. I mean, all we do is this is what we pay Heartline for, just to run it up the middle. And it was awesome because then on cue was when it looked like they were going to sneak it right up in the middle. And then they shift out and then throw it to CJ in the flat for the touchdown. I was like, "Are you happy? Did you like the creativity?"
That looked like the play we ran before, but it was different, and we set that up.
Where was that at earlier? I'm like, okay, can you just be happy? Okay, it's 24-6. Game's over. Yeah. They're out of there in 3 hours.
You got your cover. Let's go.
Plenty of time to get up there for
everybody.
Some beers.
That's what people were mad. They're like, I got this at 9.5. Like I got this at 8.5. We're not. Just chill out, dude.
They got you.
They got you.
Great teams cover.
This Ohio State team in Austin was talking about it after the game with one of the coaches. Like, this is a very NFL mindset and this is something we talked about last year. We said, hey, Ryan Day is running this like an NFL game day, and it's a very professional outfit. There's not a bunch. This isn't a run and shoot. This isn't a triple. Like, this is a professional style football team, and so it's not always going to be as like, well, we're just going to throw the ball over the head of the cover 3 all day long. Like, that's pretty dumb football. I'm not like a football IQ guy. I'm not like an X's and O's guy, but I know that if there's 3 deep in a soft zone, throw it in front of it.
Yeah. Just take what they're giving you, and that's fine. That's what they did.
Ohio State's talented
they did that
enough.
In the third
Ohio
quarter,
State's so good.
Until they come up, and then you go.
Ohio State is so talented, like they can do that and still win, and win dominant. To win a game that dominantly, when you only have 340 yards of offense, it says a lot about this team. Like they are going to win games differently all year long. They're going to win however they have to every week.
How will they do it this week? What's the final score going to be against Minnesota, Birm?
You know,
if the boatman
Minnesota is throwing the ball 55% of the time this year
with a freshman quarterback.
There's a guy. He's a transfer from South Dakota State or wherever, North Dakota State or North Dakota, South Dakota.
A Dakota.
Some Dakota,
or
maybe somewhere else in Minnesota. I don't know. Maybe even like an Iowa Northern or Northern Iowa.
Iowa Northern.
He's a transfer from somewhere.
He's a transfer from somewhere in the lower levels, but he's a good quarterback. They're throwing it around a lot. They were without their top running back this weekend against Rutgers, and in that they only ran the ball, I think, for 44 yards. So it's not a traditional Minnesota team, but like they're not going to try to come into Columbus and throw the ball over the yard, right? So
that would be pretty surprising if they did.
There'll be some I think you'll have some little wrinkles there.
Trickeration.
Vegas is calling this a 34-10 Ohio State win, basically.
Roughly, yeah.
I think I'm going to go 35-7.
You just have a lot of faith in the bookmakers.
So under. They're normally pretty good at this stuff. I don't know if you know that.
Actually, they miss quite a lot. You just have a reputation for, you hear 1 time out of 10 that they're right on. Like, hey, Vegas,
those guys are new. 35-7.
Jay-Z?
I'm going 38-6.
Yeah, that's why I was probably going to go 38-9.
38-9. Just right there. Knocking them under its 10, just like we talked to Nicole into.
Hey, listen.
44.
I guarantee you, you do it 4 games now. Like and you have Texas in there, Washington. This isn't
we just did it to that offense that Washington has. Yes. Minnesota's not putting 60 on the board in their first.
I just sit there and listen to Rick Neuheisel all week talking about how this offense was so explosive and upset city. It's loud, and that's it wasn't very loud in the second half. I was talking to Lincoln about it. Go, well, when you don't have don't score a touchdown, there's not a whole lot to get excited.
Hard to believe.
Minnesota scored 31 points on Saturday against Rutgers, and they have 68 points in their 3 games against non-FBS schools, and 66 points in that 1 game against this is not a team that's going to come into Columbus and score easily. So, I hope Rick Neuheisel feels good about them too.
I doubt that he will. I don't think he's got any personal connection to PJ Fleck, but I guess we'll find out as
they're all personally connected.
Oh,
that's what we've learned. Everybody knows everybody.
That's
all worked for each other.
I don't know. Rick Neuheisel hasn't worked in a while. Saturday, primetime. It's homecoming. Looking forward to Ohio State and Minnesota under the lights at the Horseshoe. And we've had a great time, a fun, casual time, in fact, on the live show breaking down Ohio State's win at Washington. They're 4-0, and they're heading into October with a lot of momentum.
The hunt for Reds October. We're coming for you, Dodgers.
And if you want to hear more baseball from Birm, sorry, that's going to be the end of it. We're not going to talk about it when we get back in here next week to break down Ohio State and Minnesota at the live show.
Oh, we're talking if the Reds
beat all
the
Dodgers. No,
if the Reds
only
win
if they lose will we talk about
if the Reds
just to get them going.
Find a way to win 2 out of 3 in LA. We're talking about it next Monday because I won't be here.
Thanks, Sansky Power Sports.
I'll be in Milwaukee.
No, you won't be. Thanks to
Milwaukee.
Roosters. Thanks to Justin Zwick. Thanks to Bobby Carpenter. Thanks to Jeremy Birmingham. And thank you to Nicole Cox. And thank you for watching and spending part of your Monday with us on the live show. Have a great week. We'll see you here next Monday.